It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship, our final race of the 2020 season. From WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in Monterey, California, it's the Geico Motorcycle MotoAmerica Superbike Speed Fest at Monterey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Supersport Show. I'm Greg Wyatt, standing alongside two-time world champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, Sean Dillon Kelly was our standout yesterday, an outstanding performance, and for SDK, he won in a variety of ways.
Yeah, he really rode the perfect race yesterday. Some of the other front runners had some problems. Can't take anything away from SDK, though. It was absolutely perfect.
Looking at the race highlights, yeah, that's the 195. JD Beach, he's back in action for this one race, and he was ahead of Sean Dillon Kelly early until that move, Jay.
Yeah, SDK was able to get a good drive onto the front straightaway and get close enough to do something with JD down into turn 2. Only a couple laps later, after JD's demise in turn 6, Sean Dillon Kelly makes what would be the winning pass on Richie Escalante, our champion of 2020. That said, Escalante ends up having a problem. This guy didn't matter, though. He was running a great pace out front. Very consistent lap times, really a dominant performance.
So for Sean Dillon Kelly, let's take a look inside the numbers at SDK season, because they have been impressive. 4 wins, Jason, and how about 15 podiums?
Yeah, 15 podiums, and when you look back on this season, this is really a season where I think SDK had to push himself all season long to try to be competitive with Escalante, and he did a tremendous job yesterday. Wouldn't be surprised to see him do the double this weekend. That's how good he looks.
One guy standing in the way, though, is JD Beach. He had an unfortunate incident where he crashed. He's up and okay, though.
Yeah, it was good to see JD back on pavement, like we said yesterday. Was a shame to see what happened to him in turn 6, getting flung off the inside of the bike the way he did, but he'll be back today.
Our very own Hannah Lopa had a chance to catch up with JD Beach and ask him how he's doing.
Greg, Jason, yesterday we saw a familiar face and fan favorite return to the MotoAmerica paddock after some time away, but it didn't quite go how he planned. JD, tell us what happened during yesterday's race.
Yeah, the race yesterday, I think I just got a little too excited, and I think leading into the race, just being off the bike for so long and coming into a new team for me, I just, during practice and stuff on Friday, I don't think I was picky enough with the bike, and they're asking, well, what do we need to do? What do we need to change? And I'm just kind of like, it's fine. I'll just keep riding it. And I think as the pace got faster, the bike just wasn't quite there, and I kind of put that on myself, and lesson learned. And we're bummed, but we got another chance today, and I think we did learn quite a bit in the race. So we'll see what we can do today.
JD Beach is fired up for this race. And here's WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, which favors a guy like JD because he likes to go left, Jay, and there's 7 left-hand corners. A lot of elevation, a world-class facility without any question. But Jay, when we look at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, we want to know what are the places to pass to make this a race, and we're going to do it with the Cardo Track hotspots.
Yeah, and you talk about elevation change. Up over the top of turn 1 is blind, Greg, and it's wide open. You can't see where you're going until you get over the back of it. This is where we saw Sean Dillon Kelly slide up underneath JD Beach in that turn 2. Another great passing spot will be breaking into turn 5, a turn that has a lot of camber, and then it starts shooting uphill. This is where the climb starts to that famous corkscrew after you go through the very fast turn 6 and narrow turn 6 that overlooks that Salinas Valley. Then it's up a very steep hill into the famous corkscrew. From there, you're going to drop down into Rainy Corner, turn 9, all the way down into turn 10, which is another cambered right-hander at the bottom, and it's going to lead you into the last corner, turn 11. Seen a lot of races won and lost here over the years. You want to get the best drive you can because that start-finish line is down this straightaway, and turn 11 is going to be a tricky one for some of these guys by the end of the day.
Cardo Track hotspots, you need a good front end feel to get on the podium. This guy did it yesterday, Corey Ventura. Can he make another step forward? He's looking for his first win.
Today's Supersport coverage is sponsored by Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Welcome back to WeatherTech Raceway. You may know it as Laguna Seca. the backside of the corkscrew. That's the walk up to it if you get to attend a race here. Motorcycles on course for their warm-up lap. And Jason Pridmore, we got to take a look at the starting grid, because in qualifying, Richie Escalante did a 27-1. Sean Dillon Kelly and JD Beach right there sharing the front row.
Yes, and then Benjamin Smith, Brandon Posh, and Bryce Prince. Talked to Benjamin Smith a little yesterday. He wants to do a little better today. I'll tell you what happened to him yesterday in the race in a little while. Corey Ventura, Almeida, and Lee round out row 3. Then Minster, Jason Aguilar, Lucas Silva will be row 4. Then on back to Nolan Lampkin. Good result for Nolan yesterday. Xavier Zayat, Jarrett Nassani all trying to get a little bit faster. Patrick Coleman, Thormiotis, and Zaragoza. Then Kevin Murphy, Harm Jansen, CJ LaRoche, Mookie Wilkerson, Grant Cowan, Stephen Campbell will roll out row 8. And then back to number 9 there. Row 9, Chris Sabaro, Luke Luciano, Michael Kim, Tony Blackwell.
So for Richie Escalante and his crew, the first miscue all season long, and he did it already after he wrapped up the #1 plate in MotoAmerica Supersport. Upper left-hand part of your screen, those red lights go out. We're going racing. Race number 2. Revs are up, and we're away. JD Beach, different color bodywork because of the incident yesterday. Got a good launch on the 195 as they peel off down into turn number 2. Hard on the brakes. It looks like Sean Dillon Kelly, M4 ECSTAR Suzuki, will take the spot. Right behind him, Richie Escalante, Honos Kawasaki, and then that Celtic HSBK Yamaha of JD Beach and Brandon Posh, Honos Kawasaki in 4th.
Yep, Brandon was pretty happy with his ride yesterday. I saw him when he was leaving the racetrack with Richie Escalante. They made some nice changes to that bike. Keep in mind, Greg, none of these guys really got to go out and try those changes because of the conditions that we had this morning being a bit wet. So some of these riders are obviously on some new setups. So we'll see how that goes. I like the fact that Escalante barged his way into 2nd right away, but that man out front, Sean Dillon Kelly, is trying to do what he did yesterday, just run smooth, fast, consistent laps, create some gaps behind him, and then let the race come once we get past that halfway point.
Some moves being made in the very tricky turn number 6 where JD Beach went down yesterday. Beach in 3rd, losing a bit of ground to the Sean Dillon Kelly and Richie Escalante. Down and through Rainy they go. And
good look at Benjamin Smith there just on the back of this lead group. He looks like he's trying to go under Brandon Posh into turn 10. So you can see just in front of him is Corey Ventura, our 3rd place finisher from yesterday. I talked to Benjamin last night and he said, Jason, I just accidentally went back to 1st gear for the corkscrew, and as I tipped in and got that bike into 1 gear too low, it backed in and backed around on him. So Benjamin Smith looking to redeem himself a little bit. As you can see, Corey Ventura is trying to go up underneath JD Beach as they go down into turn 2.
Sorry, Sean Dillon Kelly goes to the lead. What a move over Escalante. Escalante gave him some daylight, and SDK looked for a moment that he wasn't completely committed, but when he saw that daylight, he went for it, and now he takes over the lead. Boy, look who's riding right behind JD Beach. I mean,
yeah, he's right there, Corey Ventura.
Do you think Corey Ventura thought when he got here this weekend that he'd be racing with the likes of JD Beach right up front? Here comes Escalante side by side. Into turn 5, he'll take the lead.
Yeah, he's going to go back by. These two guys are doing what we've seen them do all year. Pass and repass and pass again. And right now we've seen already 3 lead changes in this last 3/4 of a lap. Escalante goes to the front. He's going to try to see if he can pull a bit of a gap. And we've seen this like we did yesterday. When Escalante gets to the front, it pulls the field apart. The only guy that's really been able to go with him all year is SDK. We've seen Brandon Posh on a few occasions be able to do the same, but he hadn't been able to quite sustain it. So now Escalante to the lead, and SDK is pulling away ever so slightly now from JD Beach.
It's been a bit of a accordion effect so far. JD Beach kind of struggling from the corkscrew till we get to turn 11. But JD trying to be more patient than he was yesterday and not put that Celtic HSBK Yamaha on the deck. But how about Corey Ventura? What a job the 28 is doing in his first appearance this year in Supersport. Beach down into the double apex, left-hand corner, turn number 2. This is where we get to the flat section of WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca.
Benjamin Smith looks to have some pace right now, Greg, as he's rolled right up on the back. Corey Ventura, see if he can get a nice drive out of here. His mid-corner speed has suffered just a little bit there behind Corey, but he's trying to do his best to get to a spot where he could duck up underneath him. So next lap, Benjamin might be wise to just let that gap be a little bit greater before they go into turn 4, so we can roll through turn 4 a little bit more, get a good run on Ventura going up into turn 5. As you can see, the 88 is right up on the back right now of 28.
And over the bumps, little foot off the peg action for a moment as they head up to the corkscrew. And JD Beach closed a little bit to Richie Escalante and Sean Dillon Kelly. This is where Beach has seemed to really suffer, yeah.
Yeah, second split, Greg. He was a 10th quicker than the two guys up in front of him was JD Beach. So third split now, he loses that time that he kind of gained, but he's still there, obviously. It's still nothing really in it, but it's just a matter of JD. You know, that bike yesterday was crashed, right? So, and here you go. Benjamin Smith makes the pass down in turn 11. Let's see if he's able to get it off that corner without Corey Ventura doing the cut back up underneath him, which is exactly what Corey Ventura does. Just gets back up underneath. A lot of times when you give a guy a lot of room to pass going down into 11, if you get in there too tight, it runs you wide on that exit and allows that guy to cut back up underneath you. Now, Benjamin, if he did what he did the lap prior, if he allows a little gap between turns 3 and 4 here to form, he might be able to run up on Corey in the middle of 4 and get a good run. See how he's just a little bit too close right now, Greg, so he can't go through here with the pace that he really wants to.
The battle for 4th and 5th, JD Beach in 3rd on the 195. Hannah, what do you know about JD?
Well, despite not getting very many laps yesterday and the inclement weather this morning, they did gather enough information to make some necessary changes for today. As far as suspension and geometry go, yesterday he felt he wasn't using enough stroke in the forks, but a little too much in the shocks, so trying to find more of a balance there. They had a small clutch issue in warm-up as well this morning, but it's fixed now. Overall, he just wanted to get another good launch. He got a great start yesterday and race up front, but to continue to have the patience again today on this better setup.
That's really what it comes down to, I think, for JD Beach, is having those patience. And of course, this is a longer race, so you got to settle that pace down and see where you're going to fall. One thing we know about JD Beach, even though he's been off a road race bike for a year,
SDK.
Oh, SDK goes to the lead. So Sean Dillon Kelly snuck right up the inside in turn 11 and took that lead over. And Richie Escalante powers right by again. Is SDK going to get him again in turn number 2? Here goes Sean Dillon Kelly. He's up the inside. Richie's got to check up, and Sean Dillon Kelly hits him with the high.
Yeah, and it's exactly what had happened down there in turn 11 again. Escalante was able to cut back up underneath him. That's going to really help JD Beach right now, who goes across the line that time at a 27.4, the 195's best lap of the race for JD so far early in the early stages. They've managed to break away a bit from Ventura and Smith. So JD Beach wants to see these guys engage as much as they possibly can. It's just going to allow him to just stay there a little bit longer.
We know how determined Sean Dillon Kelly has been this weekend. He talked about it post-race. He said, no matter what, I want to win a race here this weekend. And after the race yesterday, he also mentioned that he's got the chance of doing the double. And he has really got the bit between his teeth.
Sean Dillon Kelly did exactly what he did to Richie Escalante yesterday down in turn 11. However, this time, Escalante did cut it back up underneath him. And then just literally 2 turns later, STK makes a beeline right for the apex of turn 2 and commits to getting himself up underneath Escalante to prevent him from turning in, and was able to make that pass stick. Now on the bottom right, Escalante gets a big drive out of turn 10. And he's trying to do the same thing now to go up underneath. STK all backed in and sideways. You can see a little bit of chatter bumps as they went in there. Also, STK is going to be the guy credited with the lap lead this lap through. Looking at about minute 27.8, 28.1 that time for Escalante. Again, JD Beach 27.9. So you have about 3 riders that are still capable of just getting down in their 27s. Look at Escalante. He straight lines it right to turn 3.
What about the exit? Is he going to have it turned? Sean Dillon Kelly with the drive, but beautiful move by Richie Escalante to pass and hold on to it, at least for the moment. Well, a race is breaking out in Supersport race number 2 here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Richie Escalante, Honos Kawasaki, Sean Dillon Kelly, M4 ECSTAR Suzuki, all the while a Yamaha R6 with JD Beach aboard the controls. Celtic HSBK Racing Machine. 1, 2, 3 in this one, and they have broken away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, JD right now, these are great laps for JD to just be able to not really let these guys get away too far, continue to get his pace, continue to get his timing, and you can see he comes down here. He's only, what was he that time by, Greg? He was only 0.6 off the leader's pace. He's really good in the second sector, and he's really good in this sector here. He's better this lap, I should say. Still loses 0.3 in sector 3 to the 2 front runners. But he's on the best of his race so far, and he's good in this last section. You can see he pulls these 2 leaders back in just ever so slightly.
So Sean Dillon Kelly has played a couple cards in his hand. Is he going to try to go up the inside of Escalante? Escalante trying to prevent it. Sideways goes Richie. Dirt track style, and Richie is looking good right now, Hannah.
Yeah, and talking to Richie, I know he really wants to finish the season strong, but fortunately he was able to wrap up the championship early. Yesterday he had some problems during the race. Everything was good up until lap 10. He started losing power in the throttle, losing time, and then ultimately the bike cut power in Rainy Curve, and he coasted back into pit lane. So after talking to him, I know he wants a really strong finish. I'm sure he's feeling a sense of redemption right now up front.
Yeah, it turns out it was just a wire, one wire that got frayed and started to short out, and it was an easy fix and easy for the team to diagnose.
Yeah, we could really see yesterday that there wasn't really anything that he had done wrong mid-corner, but he kept on getting chucked up over the front of the motorcycle, so the bike was just cutting out at full lean angle, and that definitely is disconcerting as he gets into the corkscrew and gets a little sloppy into there, a little bit deep, and STK is able to just kind of clean it and run through there. Now these guys on this particular lap have just started to gap JD Beach ever so slightly, and STK just goes right to the inside.
Sean Dillon Kelly, nice move.
What a move.
Surprise, surprise. SDK stands up Richie Escalante, and that may mean Escalante will fall into JD Beach's grasp, and that slowed them down just enough where all of a sudden Beach might catch a draft.
They just started to pull away from JD, as I was saying, and that little mess up there takes them into the low 28s where JD still in the low 20 or still high 27s, so it allowed JD Beach to kind of claw his way back into this.
So JD has been good through sector number 2, which is where we're in now, sector number 3, but it's been that 4th sector. So if JD is going to have a chance at this one, he's got to close back up on these guys and then make a pass and figure out how to keep them behind him. It's one thing if it's one rider, it's another with 2.
Yep, this is sector 2 actually, Greg. Between turns 3 and 4 is where sector 1 ends, sector 2 starts, and then that will go till about right where they're at right now. This is the sector 2 section, and again, JD's pretty strong through there. You can see he closes up on him. This is look how much room SDK had going in there. He made that commitment so early to get that bike down to the bottom of turn 10 that it actually caught Escalante a little bit by surprise. JD's bike looks like transition-wise from left to right in the corkscrew doesn't look as clean as the other 2. Probably more of a setup thing, probably a little bit of rust and all that kind of stuff. Still, to see JD running this pace after not being on a road race bike for a year, pretty impressive.
I just can't imagine how much of a hold your breath moment it was for Sean Dillon Kelly to make that pass in turn number 10. It's happened before. We've seen it in the past. It's just an unusual place to pass.
It is and it isn't, because if you get a really good drive, Greg, out of turn 9, Rainy Corner there, you can kind of make a beeline down to the inside of turn 10 pretty easily, and it's banked. So if you have a bike that works really well, you can trail off into there on the front brake and still be able to release it relatively early to get by the guy that you're trying to pass.
I like what Sean Dillon Kelly did just there. He was a little bit deep into turn number 2, a little bit wide, but he was able to really understand what he was doing. He got the bike turned to get on the exit of that corner and got it up on the meat of the tire to get a drive and use the acceleration of the Suzuki GSX-R 600. Richie Escalante trying to find a way around. Sean Dillon Kelly is riding 2 ways right now, Jason. He's setting the pace, but he's also riding, occasionally throwing a defensive line up there.
Well, yeah, I think he knows that Escalante is not going to be afraid to do to him what he's been doing to Escalante. These guys have been racing really hard, really clean too, pretty much all year long. I mean, we haven't really seen too many animosities between these 2 guys. Even when there has been small contact made, it's kind of been accepted. These guys have been racing and they're going for the same piece of pavement all year long. But we've seen these guys pass and repass a ton this year, and the mutual respect seems to be there between them.
JD Beach closes up again. This must be so frustrating for Beach on the 195 as he's so close to that front battle, but he's just missing out on a couple of things. drive onto the front straightaway. JD got a good run this time, Jay. He's close, but he doesn't seem to be in the draft of those motorcycles and be able to make a move down into turn number 2. We know that Beach is really strong under braking.
Well, when these lap times go to kind of the low 28s, it really helps JD because he's kind of a 27.8 to 27.9 guy right now, but low 28s will come a lot easier for JD Beach. These guys in front of him now are at that low 28, 28.1, 28.2, and that could be some of what you're talking about, Greg, with some of the defensive lines you're seeing from SDK. That'll close off your entries a little bit and slow your mid-corner speed down. As you can see, Escalante's trying to have another run at him, but JD loses a little bit of time in that first sector. That time through, you wouldn't, on our splits it doesn't look it, but you can see he was a lot closer coming across the line. He was only 0.3 down coming across the line. That gap's a little bit bigger right now.
The run up to the corkscrew. Escalante 2 laps ago was trying to find a way around Sean Dillon Kelly, but SDK goes really tight on the left-hand side on the run up to the corkscrew, and there was no room for Richie Escalante to go. So Escalante is just going to school with 9.5 laps to go.
He's building up to that same pass down here. That's what he was looking for there.
So?
You could see it through turn 9. He was building up for that pass to try to do something. Now he's going to try to do it in turn 11, and he's not going to be able to get it done. Sean Dillon Kelly really good into 11, but you could see coming down from the corkscrew on these bikes, you're going to go second, short shift to third down that hill, carry a lot of roll speed through raining. If you can get your bike picked up off the edge of the tire, that's going to allow you to go to turn 10 and beeline it for that. And you can see Escalante's looking to do some of the same passes that Sean Dillon Kelly's done to him, but Dillon Kelly doing a nice job of just protecting that inside line.
Hannah.
Yeah, I spoke with Sean Dillon Kelly, and he said the bike setup was better than yesterday. They tried something in practice this morning to really help him with drive grip, but he was very content with that rear tire choice. And you know, as you mentioned earlier, he said he really wants to end this season doing the double.
Side by side they go. Rich Escalante right to the front again.
Yeah, right on cue as Hannah's saying that SDK wants to do the double. Escalante goes up underneath him on that run out of turn 4 going to 5. Now we're going to look at these lap times again. They're in around the 28 flats, 27.9. If Escalante can all of a sudden pound out a couple of mid-27s, then I think that we'll see that gap get a little bit bigger at the front, especially between second and third right now. As you can see, JD's he's still there, but it seems like it's hard work for JD to kind of keep pace with these guys once these lap times drop into the mid-27s at this stage in the race.
And really, we're talking about tire wear as well. Talking to Sean Dillon Kelly, he said the issue with yesterday, Jason, was that there were times when the rear Dunlop felt like it was just sitting on top of the asphalt and spinning and not driving forward. So they wanted to give it a little bit more grip, a little bit more bite, but the concern was, will they be able to give him the bite he wants, a little bit more straight? It wasn't like it was on the gas going sideways. It was just sitting on top of the asphalt and spinning in a straight line. So it wasn't upsetting the chassis. But the question becomes, with the more bite, the suspension change, are they going to shorten the life of the tire for SDK?
Well, the other thing you have to remember, too, is that by this time in the race yesterday, both Escalante and JD Beach were out, and Sean Dillon Kelly had an 8-second, 9-second lead. He was still able to pound down into the 27s was SDK yesterday. As you could see, Escalante just got that really nice drive out of turn 4 lap previous and goes up underneath Sean Dillon Kelly into turn 5. That last time through, 1:27.5, as you see a rider down in the background of our shot there. 1:27.5 that last time through for Escalante, 27.8 for Sean Dillon Kelly. Also, JD Beach 27.8, and Benjamin Smith has got himself up into 4th. He is also in the high 27s.
About 7.5 laps remain in this race. Richie Escalante, Honos Kawasaki out front, has started to pull the pin, trying to break the will, the spirit of Sean Dillon Kelly on that M4 ECSTAR Suzuki. The pace is dropping. JD Beach not able to match it. Now, the furthest distance from the front we've seen Beach just off the back of Sean Dillon Kelly. Wheel in the air for Escalante as he comes towards the line. We're going to see now if they can match that mid-27 pace. Yeah, 27.5, 27.6, and Jason, a 28 flat for Beach.
And that's the thing that was keeping them in there, is that some of the defensive lines earlier. The thing I love about Sean Dillon Kelly is he goes to work right now, And what it allows him to do when Escalante leads is it allows Sean Dillon Kelly to kind of open up the radiuses a little bit more. But he also does a nice job in some sections of the track of shortening the distance of the circuit. That allows him to kind of stay within striking distance of Escalante. But it just looks like it's a little bit harder work right now as Escalante and Sean Dillon Kelly both go the fastest first splits of the race for both riders in that first split. So this lap here, this could see these guys get back down into the low 27s. We've seen a 27.2 from Sean Dillon Kelly early in the race. This lap here might get closer to those lap times in the low 27s as opposed to the high 27s.
For Richie Escalante's racecraft, this is a little early for him to do this, meaning over the course of the season, we've had several conversations about how he likes to approach racing. And Richie says, I like to put in some really fast first couple laps, see where I am, try to conserve my tire and push really hard for the last 5 laps of the race. There's 7 to go in this one, so Richie is doing it a little bit early, trying to create a comfortable gap so we can start managing the lead. But Sean Dillon Kelly's not giving up at all, and he won't.
I love what Sean Dillon Kelly does. He just watches what's going on in front of him all the time with Escalante, and when they come by this time, 27.361, fastest lap of Escalante's race, still not quite to the pace that we saw Sean Dillon Kelly do earlier. Also, Greg, as this race wears on, if you look just up ahead, there is some traffic that's going to be coming up in front of these guys, so that's going to definitely weigh itself in as the race continues.
Blue flags will fly for lap traffic, letting them know the leaders are on their way. The hardest part is when you have a group like that, you just saw it go through your screen. They're racing together. They're racing for position. So it gets a little complicated at times when you're in a group and you're getting lapped. But here comes Richie Escalante. The lead is now about half a second. There's that group.
It's going to be depending where these guys catch them, too. It looks like they're probably going to get on them, Greg, by the time they get down into the turn 10 and 11. So when we get down to the bottom of this hill and we get down into turn 11, it could get a little bit messy down there for sure.
Yeah, if they are racing, this lap traffic, they need to understand to hold their line. So that could be a bit of a thing for SDK. Nope, line's not blocked.
That didn't hurt SDK at all.
Nope.
Here we go. They're going to get some of the guys down into turn 11 like we kind of thought. And we'll see what Escalante is able to do here as he gets in behind the 25 of Michael Kim.
So good drives by those two. Blue flags flying. You got to hold your line. Not looking behind you. That's not really the recommended way to do it. Just hold your line, let the leaders go by. So that kind of closes things up a little bit for Sean Dillon Kelly. And we can tell from the lap times, they didn't really drop too much. 27.8, 27.6. So 0.2 of a second gotten back for Sean Dillon Kelly. 5 laps to go. Supersport race number 2. The final race for Supersport of the season. Sean Dillon Kelly, second in the championship. He's got that locked up. He's sitting on 4 race wins. Escalante on 13. SDK won yesterday, trying desperately to do the double and send himself off into the winter break with a big smile on his face. As for the 2020 champ, he's trying to prove to everyone why he has the #1 plate.
And we still don't know what really either one of these two are going to be doing next year as well. We've heard murmurs of Escalante maybe stepping up, but we're not quite sure. SDK again, another person. There's a lot of riders right now that are a little bit up in the air of where they might be. The silly season has started, but where both these riders are going to land in 2021 is a little bit unknown so far.
Closing stages of this race, and Escalante's looking planted. Although, Jason, he's been sending it sideways like that all race long, it doesn't seem to have abused that rear Dunlop slick with his drives out of the corner, especially this one onto the front straightaway. Arguably the most crucial corner on the racetrack. 127.2 for Richie Escalante.
Runs a little bit wide, though, in the middle of turn 2, and that's exactly what we saw Sean Dillon Kelly do yesterday. 27.3 for SDK that lap by. I just like what this kid does. He's got a lot of grit, and he's able to stay there. And as soon as Escalante made the smallest of mistakes, you mentioned the bike getting sideways on the way in. That means Escalante's pushing really hard into the corner, and you can see he's going to have another go at SDK as they come down into turn 5. Not going to be able to make it. Looks like they're coming up on Chris Sabaro right now. They're going to get him up in and around the turn 6 area. This is a nasty spot to also be running up on the back of somebody coming into here. They're going to be able to go probably by him on the right as they go up the hill here. They are.
No problem up into the corkscrew. Sean Dillon Kelly, M4 ECSTAR Suzuki, trying to keep it nice and tidy. They have broken away from JD Beach, who's now 4 seconds back from this battle. So it's up to these two to keep it clean. Could we see one of these two winning this one? Or could disaster strike and hand a win over to JD Beach?
Yeah, JD's back there now a little bit far. What is he, 4.2 back off the leaders. So he's dropped back just 28/8 that last time by, but JD did have some traffic. These guys are still comfortably rolling around in the 27s. Let's see what they come across this time as you see JD Beach there. 27.8 to 28.2 that time for Escalante, and he's going to go firing it back.
Where is he
down
going?
Inside turn 2.
Where is Richie Escalante going in turn number 2?
SDK gets back up underneath him, so Sean was able to turn the bike back up underneath Escalante in the middle of turn 2, but this is what we've seen a lot with these guys this year, the passes and the repasses.
No question, Richie Escalante.
That's a big move.
Richie Escalante's bike is a lot looser than Sean Dillon Kelly's right now, and Escalante just has no problem. He gets a good drive, the Kawasaki moving around, he's up the inside, a little sideways. So he has the lead for the moment, but SDK is trying to drive up to turn 6, but it gets really one line up here because it's tricky with this dip right about there.
Yeah, we've seen that dip catch a few riders out over the course of the years for sure. And now it's just a matter of these guys are just, SDK is going to go straight to the apex of the corkscrew and go back underneath Escalante. They're going to get close again. They've already traded spots here probably about 4 times this lap.
Oh, that was a huge commitment. And is that going to be too big of a mistake for the M4 ECSTAR Suzuki rider, Sean Dillon Kelly?
Not at all. He's right there still.
Ooh, that's the first time I've seen SDK get a little bit out of shape on the gas. That was over the curbing.
The thing is, Greg, you go over that curbing, as you say, and you're also making a body transition, getting yourself ready, coming out of a right-hander, getting your body set for that next left. As he tries to go up the inside of Escalante, it's going to be hard work there, but he's going to do it down into turn 2 again. He's trying. Now let's see if Escalante can keep that bike down there tight, as it looks like they're going past. Looks like, 47. Harm Jansen does a nice job just seeing the blue flags and moving out of the way. Let these two guys carry on their battle.
We know you're yelling at your TVs right now, pulling for the rider you want to win. What is going to happen? Escalante has got his head down even more than before, if that's even possible. Trying to break away on this penultimate lap. We got about a lap and a half to go. Who's your prediction? Is it going to be Richie Escalante or Sean Dillon Kelly? Well, SDK's last shot was at the top of the corkscrew. He's not going to be close enough.
He's lost 4/10 on this lap in the first 2 splits, and he's lost another little bit here, it looks like, as they roll up to the top of the hill. So SDK has just lost a little time. You can see him cutting the distance off on the way into the corkscrew to try to gain a little bit of that time back. And he's able to do that coming down the hill. About the same time in the 3rd split, you see a back marker doing a nice job here getting out of the way. I believe that's Kevin Murphy.
Ooh.
He did a good job there.
Yeah.
He stayed tight and he rolled off the throttle. Now SDK, it's going to be up to him. We kind of look out our window. We can see if there's going to be anybody in front of these guys, and it doesn't look like they're going to have anybody to deal with. So they're going to have a clear run to the checkered flag for this last lap.
Don't forget to breathe on this final lap. This one is going to be tense. Richie Escalante sends it sideways again. He's made mistakes down in turn 2, but not this time. Nice and tidy.
I think SDK is going to go for a run here through this next couple of corners and try to set something up for the top of the corkscrew. He has a very unique way of being able to straight line it from the little kink in the right part at the top of the hill straight into that left. I don't think he's going to be close enough coming out of here to do anything in turn 5. So what he's going to be focusing on is getting the best drive that he can right now out of this corner, turn 5. Then he's got to get a nice roll through the middle of turn 6 in order to try to get close enough to Escalante to sneak up the inside of him at the top of the corkscrew.
This is the move for Sean Dillon Kelly. Oh, it looks like he had the front a little bit sideways. He lost the front a little bit and didn't get the run up to the corkscrew he wanted. He's trying to close the gap.
Richie cleaned it. He cleaned it through turn 6, and you can see Escalante out over the curbing a little bit on the way down.
So SDK's only shot, well, I say that, turn 10, he's not close enough, is going to be in turn 11. Escalante is going to know it's coming. Watch to see if Escalante is just going to close off turn 11 and not give SDK an opportunity. The Kawasaki's bucking around. Here goes Sean Dillon Kelly. He blocks him. What about the drive? Here they go, full gas. Escalante trying to find the draft of Sean Dillon Kelly. SDK does it.
What a move. What a race by SDK. Really nice job. And here comes JD Beach. He's going to come across the line and end up third.
Trying to wheelie?
Yeah. Benjamin Smith. Really nice work from Benjamin Smith there in fourth. SDK down here in turn 2. That probably took everything it possibly could out of him. This guy doesn't have any quit or any give up in him. What a race. That's probably going to be his favorite victory of the season without question.
M4 ECSTAR Suzuki, Sean Dillon Kelly with a Hail Mary pass in turn 11. Got to see that again. That was something special. I mean, they come out, there's a couple bike lengths between them, but it was the bucking Bronco of Richie Escalante trying to get it settled down, and Jason SDK just straight lined it.
And really one of the differences too is I believe that Kawasaki comes out of here in second where SDK goes back to first. So that initial throttle opening, that Suzuki jumps off that corner really nicely and doesn't allow Escalante to get back up underneath him. So tremendous move from SDK there in that last corner.
A master craft class in how you race a super sport machine put on display by Sean Dillon Kelly. Margin of victory, 73 thousandths of a second. Suzuki over Kawasaki, and a Yamaha will stand on the podium. Welcome back to Supersport Racing, JD Beach. Can't wait to hear from him after this one is done and dusted. Benjamin Smith in fourth. What a run on the final race of the season. Some heads have to be turning for Benjamin Smith. Corey Ventura in fifth place, Brandon Posh sixth, Prince Aguilar Almeida. We're going to talk more about this race when we come back to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
Today's Supersport race coverage has been sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Celebration in Victory Lane after a race broke out at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in Supersport. I mean, what can you say about Sean Dillon Kelly and his desire to do the double? Pretty incredible. The fact that he got it done by 73 thousandths of a second says it all right there. I know Escalante wanted to go out a winner, but our hats off to both these guys. Thanks for the entertainment. JD Beach ends up 9 seconds back, put on the podium in his one-off appearance this year, but Sean Dillon Kelly's got to be pumped. So let's get right down to Victory Lane with Hannah Lopa.
Well, Greg, this is Sean Dillon Kelly's 16th podium appearance this season, and it marks his 5th victory. Sean, you were trading passes with Escalante that whole last lap. Take us through it.
Yeah, well, first of all, I wanted to finish off the last race of the season on the best note possible, and honestly, getting the double is obviously the best way to do it. So I want to give this, dedicate this to my whole team, whole M4 ECSTAR Suzuki team for being with me these last 2 years, which have been my first time racing in MotoAmerica since last year and now this year. And I'm not sure what's going on for 2021 yet, but I know it's going to be good. And I know that this 2020 season prepared me for whatever is coming next. And man, I'm just really, really proud of the work we've done all season long. We've had a lot of tough times. Started the year with a broken leg, but we came back and showed that even an injury like that won't stop us. So thank you, Michael Torres, for getting me through my entire recovery, getting me back to the athlete I am, and just thank you to the whole M4 ECSTAR Suzuki team for everything they've done. Amazing season, second in the championship. Quite a few wins, lots of podiums, and just have to be proud for what we did. Thank you to my family, mom, dad, my girlfriend, my sister, and watching at home that I wish she was here with my little nephews, my brother-in-law, and just everyone for watching at home. I love all of you, and nothing. We're just going to keep on working off season now, which means we're going to train harder than ever, and just thank you to everyone, Jeremy Toy, Alex, all my guys, Chris and John Ulrich, and nothing, just super grateful for everyone, grateful for the season. Congrats, Richie, on a fantastic season, and we're going to keep on fighting. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for all the sponsors for the support. Thank you, Fresh and Lean, for believing in me, and we'll keep on working. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. Today's race winner, Sean Dillon Kelly.
And Jason, when he talks about this season, preparing him to go forward, you know exactly what he's talking about.
Well, I think that this season was a tough one for him, and he had to fight some adversities. You heard him talk about a broken leg, and then there was some talks about the difference in machinery and things. But this guy, he's too good of a rider, and he showed that today, just how good he really, really is.
Let's get right down to Hannah with our second place finisher.
At the start of this season, Richie Escalante was still searching for his first ever Supersport win. Here we are at the end of the season. You have 13 victories and a Supersport championship title under your belt. What has been the biggest takeaway for you this season?
Yeah, I'm really happy. You know, I'm start to first about today the race. When you lose the win in the last corner, it's a little bit difficult to accept. So second place is really good to finish this amazing season. I'm really happy with these 13 wins, win the championship. Just take thanks to my team owners, give me the best team, and thanks to Graves Kawasaki to give me the best bike this year. I'm really happy. Like Sean said, I don't know what happens for 2021 right now, so I'm very happy to finish the season. Looking forward for the future. Thanks to all my family, my brother, my girlfriend, my team, Jorge, Humberto Vaca, Chris Lessing, Derek, Jason, Jose, Tyron, all the people around me. It's an amazing year, so I'm very, very happy, and yeah, thanks to all the MotoAmerica fans.
With there being a question mark on the future of your racing career, what would be the ideal situation for you?
Yeah, for sure. I try to race Superbike. I think it's the next stop. We'll see what happens if we have the opportunity. I love this sport. I love this country. I love the MotoAmerica. So I hopefully have a good opportunity. It's not maybe stay in the class and defend the title. So right now I'm very happy. It's time to back home and looking forward for 2021.
Congratulations to our second place finisher, Richie Escalante.
Well, Jason Escalante at 25 years old and a Supersport championship. Personally, I think he's ready for Superbike. What about you?
No question. You've done what you needed to do here. You won a bunch of races, and you really want to get that next part of your career started. I think jumping on a big bike with a good team is going to be the thing you need to do. Let's get on back down to Hannah.
Third place today goes to JD Beach after a return to MotoAmerica after some time away. JD, where were you really looking to make up some time to catch up to our leaders?
Yeah, you know, well, first off, I just got to thank Dave Bright and Houston Superbike and Celtic. I was out for a bike ride and I got a text message and said, hey, you want to come race Laguna? And my heart stopped. I was so excited, and in the right race today, it was just, I needed that warm up this morning because that mistake I made yesterday just kind of set us back a little bit. But I think I came out and proved that I can still run up front and be fast. And the first few laps of the race, I was just kind of timid and just wasn't ready for it. And that's just racing. But I mean, I got to thank John Ethel too for coming out of retirement for me and coming doing this race with me, and Ken Hill. I mean, I got to thank my Essenson team too for letting me come and do this race. I mean, I just love racing. It don't matter if it's dirt, road, whatever. I mean, it's just awesome to be out racing, and I just got to thank everybody at MotoAmerica. I mean, it was great to see all my friends. It's been a long time, and everybody was pumped that I was here, and I was glad to be here. And I mean, I just got to thank the series, American Flat Track, everybody that has made my life amazing, and I just got to thank my family and friends because they've had to put up with me this year because it hasn't been great, but it's awesome to be back, and to get a podium feels even better.
Thanks, JD. Congratulations.
Oh, please. You kidding me? He's like, it's nice to prove that I can still ride a sport bike.
We need JD back. It'd be great to have him here. Nobody
thought JD couldn't put this thing on the podium. We'll have more when we come back to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Dylan Kelly celebrating his double victory. And what a way to wrap up the 2020 season for the 18-year-old from Florida. Jason, that was some race. So let's take a look at race 2 highlights. It was as entertaining as they come.
Yeah, really, it was a race between 3 guys. When you see JD Beach in there along with Escalante and SDK, they got out front real early, and the battle just commenced. Left off kind of where we thought it would do yesterday before it fizzled out, but Escalante and SDK, it'd be fun to go back and look at this race and see how many times these guys actually passed and repassed each other, because had to be a good 10, 15 times. And really, as the race kept on progressing, they were feeling each other out, passing in different spots. Like you see SDK there in turn 10, turn 5, turn 2, turn 11, we saw things go down up into the corkscrew. A couple times Escalante ran a little bit wide in the middle of turn 2, and SDK was able to slide up underneath him, as you see here. It was the second time he did it, only to have Escalante just probably in the same lap go back up underneath him at 5. This is the last lap here, though. See, Escalante went to get in there a little bit tight. SDK just went in there tighter and just was committed to making this pass happen. Accelerates nicely out of the last corner and leads coming across the line.
Well, Jason, I think for next season we're going to have to redo the Cardo track hotspots, because these guys showed us that you can pass on every single corner at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Here's the final point standings for the 2020 season. Escalante 40 over Sean Dillon Kelly, and we know Brandon Posh comfortably in that third position for the season. Well, that'll do it for us here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for Supersport. We hope you enjoyed the show and the season. For Hannah Lopa and Jason Pridmore, I'm Greg White. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure to check out MotoAmerica.com for all the information about what's going on in the off season. We'll see you in 2021.